Warning. The way how I pronounce Omastar and Omastar may piss you off.
Really, that's funny. Yeah. Haha, okay. Haha.
What is going on, rebels and reblettes? Today, I am going to be discussing whether or not it's possible that the Amastar line and Gastrodon line could be related. To start things off, we all know that the Ammonite line is said to be extinct and can be brought back to life with fossil reviving machines scattered across the Pokemon world. Ammonite are brought back with the remains of the Helix fossil and can later evolve into Omastar via level up. Now let's get into the reasons why Omastar became extinct. According to Amastar's Pokemon Yellow Pokedex entry, it states, "Sharp beaks ring its mouth. Its shell was too big for it to move freely, so it became extinct. Omastar's shell became too big for it to move. Therefore, it was limited to only being able to gather food nearby," according to its Pokemon Crystal entry. Let's also take into consideration the locations of the Helix fossils. In Kanto we have Mount Moon. Johto we have Runes of Alph, exclusively Heart Gold and Soul Silver. In Hoenn we have the Mirage spots, exclusively Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, the Sinnoh Underground, Universe Twist Mountain, and the Glittering Cave in the Kalos region. These areas all at one point had to have been covered in seawater, otherwise the Helix fossils would not be found there in the first place. Because of this, Ammonite were not able to eat the plankton they needed, and the Omastar were not able to eat the shell that they needed. As the ocean receded from those areas, the Shellder were able to migrate with the oceans, as they were able to move freely long distances, unlike Omastar. Due to this, the Ammonite and Omastar were unable to eat, and became malnourished and stunted their size. This caused the shells on their backs to become too heavy, causing them to not be able to move and migrate with the dwindling oceans. What if, though, through time, some Ammonite and Omastar were able to survive in certain areas, and through natural selection evolved into Shellos and Gastrodon? I know it seems a little far-fetched, but check this out. The Omastar and Gastrodon origins both come from the mollusk family. If we also take a look at Gastrodon and Shellos' locations, they are very close to the ocean, making them possible areas for Ammonite and Omastar to survive. However, as time went by, these habitats slowly started to form nearby landmasses, forcing the Ammonite line to adapt to these new environmental changes. The Ammonite line had just enough resources to survive, but didn't have a full ocean backyard like in ancient times. Without the ocean, they lived in shallow tide pools that gave them the same food, but forced them to live a very different lifestyle. That is why Shellos and Gastrodon live in tide pools, according to Gastrodon's Pokemon Pearl Pokedex entry. Through generations of adaptation, the large shell on the Ammonite line's back slowly started diminishing. It no longer needed it to defend itself from other marine predators. However, there are still traces of it in its cells, according to Gastrodon's Pokemon Platinum Pokedex entry. All this more than likely caused Ammonite and Omastar's secondary rock typing to change it to ground typing. The Omastar and Gastrodon line also have pretty similar move pools, with a lot of the same water, rock, and ground type attacks. One of the most distinguishing factors that really makes these Pokemon similar, though, is that Ammonites and Omastar's shiny forms both really resemble the West Sea Shellos and Gastrodon being a pink coloration, whereas the regular Ammonite and Omastar forms are more similar to the East Sea Shellos and Gastrodon, being blue in coloration. Well, that pretty much sums up my thoughts on the matter. Both of these mollusk-like Pokemon share a lot of biological traits of one another, and also seem to really come from the same family, but whether or not they're related is still just a theory. If you guys have anything you'd like to add or talk about, discuss them in the comment section below. I would love to hear your thoughts on this theory. As always, I've been Mystic Underground, and I will see you in the future for more Pokemon content.